The folding chair, a convenient seating apparatus in which you can collapse easily at any time. Invented and patented in 1931 by Philip E.G. Harrison, this device would be used from its early origins until the dawn of time. But no one would have guessed it would become synonymous with wrestling culture. Welcome to Wrestling Through the Ages. Let's not waste any time and get right into this deep dive. Fred Thomas Curry Sr., born May 2nd, 1913, in Hartford, Connecticut, would make a living on and off as a no-nonsense tough cop, walking the beat, but would find more success becoming a wrestler under the in-ring moniker Wild Bull Curry. It would make his wrestling debut on May 3rd, 1932 for the AWA, ending in a controversial time limit draw against Tarzan Taylor in Boston, Massachusetts. Wild Bull Curry would eventually implement using various items surrounding the ring against his opponents, something that has been unprecedented up to this point and is credited as the originator of hardcore wrestling. Wild Bull Curry would pick up tables, guardrails, ropes, any item near the ring to use to his advantage, and on one very special day, he would push a fan off of his seat, fold up his chair, and swing it against his opponent. Wild Bull Curry was the hardcore wrestling pioneer a decade before the likes of people like The Sheik, Abdullah the Butcher, and Bruiser Brody, among others. Curry would move to Detroit in the mid-30s and started wrestling for Adam Weissmuller's promotion. He would develop and master this hardcore style of wrestling, which made him a top draw in Detroit and surrounding area. Curry would eventually become a wrestling icon in Texas and is the reason the brass knuckle title was created. There is no exact precise date we can pinpoint the chair phenomena, but we can come close. This would have happened undoubtedly during a match ending in a disqualification, which would make it either July 16, 1937 against Ray Eckert at Lafayette Park in Springfield, Illinois for Tom Parks Enterprise, or his match against Gus Sonnenberg at Footguard Hall in Hartford, Connecticut for the AWA. Wild Bull Curry's chair-swinging hardcore style would branch off rather soon, and the torch would be passed on more notably to the likes of Pampiro Firo, Dory Funk Sr., Freddie Blassie, Giant Bubba, among other legends of the time. It would make its way to other stars fast, with the likes of The Sheik on February 2nd, 1954 against Lou Klein, and Abdullah the Butcher on June 25th, 1959 against Tosh Togo. With the 60s and 70s drawing near, the hardcore style was popularized by the next generation of wrestlers. Bruiser Brody, The Funks, Stan Hansen, Jerry Lawler, Gypsy Joe, Carlos Colon, among others. With the 1970s almost behind us, Chairshots would migrate its way to other countries. Chairshots would either gratify or piss off fans, causing many riots, fights, fans storming the rings, and venues being torched. There were also dozens of stabbings and instances of guns being brought to the shows and fired. These chairs are gimmicked and actually don't hurt anyone at all. I'm kidding. These chairs are legitimate, fabricated from steel, wood, or aluminum. There is no real way to take a safe chair shot either, and the method used by 90% of talent was and still is sticking your hands up at the last second. Let's fast forward to the 1980s. Chair shots now are a mainstay. A way to get an edge over your opponent, usually behind the referee's back. In order to get a quick pinfall, WWF, WCW, NWA, Stampede Wrestling, AAA, and other major promotions with high-end TV contracts had no issue with showcasing chair shots, and showcase they did. That is, until the 1990s appeared. Chairs and blood were going to take a back seat for a while, because wrestling was changing once again, and had to be watered down in order to become a more family-friendly show. But big surprise, that would soon change yet again, with brand new companies popping up around the world, focusing solely on the hardcore style that fans love. With WWF's Attitude Era, hardcore wrestling would re-emerge on mainstream TV, with chair shots naturally following suit. Several dozen promotions would pop up in the late 90s trying to get a piece of the pie. However, most if not all of these promotions would fall short, failing to gain ground and closing up shop. There was also a small movement of backyard wrestling that would emerge in the early stages of 2000, to which they would push the envelope of chair usage to the max. I'm not going to talk about backyard wrestling or companies like CZW or XPW. There's enough information online about these small promotions, and I don't need to waste your time here with that garbage. Chairshots started off with pioneer Wild Bull Curry, literally so he could get noticed, make a name for himself, and get paid more to be able to support his wife and kids. It also added a sense of drama and urgency that wrestling desperately needed at the time. Like previously mentioned, chairs and wrestling have become synonymous with one another, for better or worse. From the old Western saloons to the squared circle, everything has its place, and I believe chair shots still have a place in wrestling today, as long as it's not oversaturated. Thanks for your ongoing support. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the channel, and I'll see you next Friday for another episode of Wrestling Through the Ages.